Hi, I'm Jamie West, your local real estate broker, and the number one question I get is how's the market? So I put together monthly market updates to give you an overview of what's going on in the national market so you can understand the current trends. So for the past year now, the economists have been saying that there's going to be a recession. So what we've done here is we combined the surveys for you between all the economists and market analysts, and they said that 22% thought that 2019 that the recession would hit, and 46% in 2020. So that's combined more than 2 out of the 3 think that we're going to have a recession in the next 18 months. So 12% of the shoppers that are currently out there looking for homes right now believe we're going to go into a recession sometime this year. An additional 30% think it might not be until 2020. But out of everybody looking for houses, 42% think it's going to be in the next 18 months. Now the other interesting thing is that according to Realtor.com, the survey showed that 59% of those who believe that we're going in recession believe that the recession could be the same or worse as 2008. So according to Realtor.com, nearly 70% of the home shoppers this spring think that U.S. will enter a recession in the next 3 years, but that hasn't stopped them from trying to buy a home. Obviously, the last time the housing crash caused the recession, prices dropped dramatically. But in the previous 4 recessions, only once did the price drop at about 2%, and the other 3 times the prices actually increased, and 2 of those times were above the historic national norm of 3.5%. Anthony Chan, the chief economist with JP Morgan Chase, says, "I feel really comfortable that the economy is slowing down this year but not going into recession. It doesn't look to me like the odds of recession in 2020 are there." And Dean Baker, he's the senior economist for the Center of Economic and Policy Research, says, "To sum up the general picture, the U.S. economy is definitely weakening. However, with wages growing at a respectable pace and job growth remaining healthy, we should see enough consumption demand to keep the economy moving forward. That means slower growth, but no recession." And Lisa Shellett, the Chief Investment Officer, Wealth Management at Morgan Stanley, says, "I'm not convinced a recession is coming soon. I see improving housing market, low rates help, a rebound in bank lending, a tight labor market, higher oil prices, and well-behaved credit markets. All of these point to a stable U.S. economic outlook." And Morgan Housel on possible economic slowdown states, "Some will assume it has to be as bad as 2008. It's been a while since the last recession, so the next one will feel worse than it is. No matter what you do for a living, how you invest, what you invest in, or where you live, there will be opportunities." So here, whether we look at the Realtor Buyers Traffic Index or Showing Time Index, the number of buyers who are coming into the market, looking at the increasing month over month, it's been going up for the last 3 months. So you can see that buyer demand is there. CoreLogic just recently did a study looking at the percentage of change from 2005 to 2018 in the rent versus mortgage payments. So since 2005 compared to the end of 18, because we had to look at the full year, the rent index was up 36%, but the typical mortgage payment was down 4%. So why the difference? It's mainly because mortgage rates back in December of 2005 were significantly higher, averaging 6.3% for a fixed rate 30-year mortgage compared to 4.6% in December of 18. And that's lower even now. So if you're considering whether you should buy or rent, here's a perfect example of why it makes sense to buy, because you're going to have an expense. So do you want it to be a rental expense or a mortgage expense? Here is going back all the way back as far as the numbers go. The Housing Affordability Index 1990 to today. This is from NAR. The higher the index, the more affordable housing was. The only time it was more affordable was during the middle of the housing crash, where interest rates dropped to about 3% and houses were selling for 30 or 40% discounts, and even in Florida it was higher than that. So the percentage of median income needed to purchase a median priced home historically from 1985 to 2000, not worrying about the boom or the bust historically, is about 21.2% of a person's income that went to the housing expense if they owned a home. In 2006, obviously that number went up dramatically because the interest rates were still high and the housing prices were through the roof. So today that number is down and it's 15.9%. So now it looks at this every single month, and you can watch the payment percentage of a person's income, and I went all the way back to last June to show you, and it's dropped every month since that, except for November where it went up a little bit, but that's when interest rates went up. So you can see today it's less expensive as a percentage of your income to own a home than it was last June. June does happen to be National Buyers Month, and I just want to let you know that the buyer and seller guides, the new ones are out. for the summer, and they're available at my website, westrealestate.group. The quarterly buyer and seller guides, if you go to my website, click on the buyer or the seller links, it'll be here with these icons, and once you click on there, you can register for the new reports. Just wanted to show you quickly, here's what the reports contain, and they're updated quarterly. So 5 reasons to sell this summer, and it goes through all these different items, and then 4 reasons to buy a home this summer. So hopefully that'll give you some helpful information. So low interest rates, powerful demographic trends, and changing consumer preferences all point towards a market where real estate professionals and mortgage lenders must be informed, engaged, and aligned in a pursuit of helping their clients and supporting responsible homeownership. So I'm here to help understand how those affect you with the shifting elements. So if you're thinking of buying or selling and you have specific questions for me, please reach out to me and I'll see how I can help you. Now, I did take out some of the slides because otherwise it would be a long presentation and more information than you want to know. So here are some of the resources that I've used throughout the information I provided here for you. And here, going into the graphs of the monthly update. So here you can see the average days on market, and in Florida we're at 46 to 60 days on the market. And here you can see the existing home sales year over year by the region. And then here's a year-to-date graph for 2000 home sales versus 2019, and you can see the differences compared to the overall total home sales. Now here's the trends in the pending home sales. This means that they were listed for sale, but they're actually currently under contract with the buyer but haven't closed yet. And then here's the percentage breakdown of the distressed sales. So obviously during the market crash 2012, we were way up here at about 35%. And we had spiked up a little bit towards the beginning of the year, but also we did have an increase in those interest rates. They're back down, and this has gone down slightly lower again. And here we get into the home prices. Here are the existing home prices year over year by region, broken down, and then the overall US as a whole. Percentage of change in sales. This indicates for the price points, you can see the first time home buyer market is the strongest, and then this last column here is 1 million or more. Here's the Case-Shiller report for the year-over-year price changes with the city composites would be December, January, and getting into February here. Forecast for the year-over-year change in price, they're looking at Florida for 6.8%, and you can see the other states as well. Housing inventory, this is an overview of the last 2 years, and the inventory is the months of supply that all the active buyers it would take for us to come down to 0. So if there's 4 months of inventory, they're saying it would take 4 months for that absorption for the buyers that are out there for the demand. So you can see currently where we're at 3.9. Buyer demand here. You can see the buyer traffic here in Florida is considered stable. And then the interest rates, you see the trends here and where we currently are. We spiked up a bit there like at the end of the year, and that's where we had the market slow down, and then we came back down and lower rates. Here's all of the 4 different comparisons here are the rate predictions, and then we averaged them all for you and broke it down to the quarter. And then the mortgage rate projection. So here's the history going to actually what happened over the 16, 17, and 18, and what they're thinking here is going to be happening in 19 and then 20. And so that concludes it for this edition of the May National Real Estate Market Update. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any specific questions for me that I can help you with, please reach out. Thank you.